We're going to take a few minutes for people to gather together and watch what we're doing. I'm going to clean my lens off really quickly, so let me just do that, because that lens looks pretty dirty. Let me go get the tissue paper. Do a little housework here. That's better. Yeah. Okay, Tammy will be with us in a couple of minutes. She's doing some doggy work. Got 2 people thumbs up already. Well, we appreciate that. Let's have a look here and see what we've got going on. So here we go. And mine not showing that it's working. Why? That's weird. Here we go. All right. So we want to talk today about equipment that we think, well, what equipment do we use? Why do we use it? How do we use it? Of course, a lot of this equipment comes from My Breeder Supply, so we're going to talk about that too. And then we want to find out questions you've got about what you should be doing. And then maybe some other people may be using different equipment. And let's talk about what that is and how they're using it, so we can get some feedback from everybody. Okay. So we've already got 18 people in here. This is great. Good. Let's see here. George Rodriguez says, good evening. Well, good evening to you, George. And it looks like we've already got quite a few people joining up, and we're getting some more likes than we normally get right off the bat. I like that. Thank you very much. Okay, so you can ask questions about other things, but I'm going to handle the stuff that's pertinent to equipment first. We've now got Michelle Standard says hello. Hi, Michelle. Good to see you here. Hope everybody had a good 4th. That everybody's got all their fingers and thumbs and hasn't lost any digits or blinded any kids or anything like that. And of course, that's a celebration where you kicked. I'm formerly a British person. I'm American now, but that's a celebration of kicking out my clan out of America. Though these days, I'm very happy to be an American. And I'll just spend a couple of seconds talking about that because it is relevant to the 4th. I mean, America, although we're very divisive in some of our politics, and it seems like everything's in turmoil, America is still a wonderful place to be. And I'm extremely glad that I came over here in 1978. And although I've been back to England, and I mean, I've got English heritage, of course, got English relatives are all over here now as well. But I love America. I love being American. I love Oklahoma. I love all the freedom that we have. I love our whole legal system. America is a great place. Some of you don't feel like that is. Oh, so Michelle Stanner just got an incubator. Good. Right. And then we've got Fluffy Frenches from Kansas, and Carrie Jimin says, good evening, nice to see you. And Bully Florida Life has joined. So I want to talk about what we use, why we use it. So I want to start off by talking about, of course, who was that? Michelle said that she just got her incubator. So what she probably got is one of our incubators, and there's a couple of different size incubators. This is the smaller one. And so I want to talk a little bit about how we use incubators and how we shouldn't be using incubators. So before I kind of go into the details of this, I think that you should, I mean, this sounds crazy. I think you should use incubators as little as you possibly can. What the hell is James talking about? Why would that be the case? Because I think it's a mistake to think that you should separate mum and babies for the first 2 or 3 weeks of their life and keep babies in an incubator away from mum and just take mum to the babies to mum when it's time for a feeding. Why do I believe that? Because I think that it's not the way that we as humans treat our mothers and their babies. We don't do that. We don't do it for good reason, and here are the reasons. Separating mum and babies doesn't get a bond going that you want to establish immediately, that baby-mother bond that says mum's going to look after these babies and that the babies are going to learn things from their mother. If you break that bond by separating babies and mum, by putting them in an incubator like this, then you're just asking for trouble. I mean, you're asking for trouble because the mum may decide that you're actually the mother and she's not going to look after the babies. And I see that quite a bit. The second thing is that, you know, all the things that you've got to do now, like stimulating babies, mum can't do that because she's not there. Then this is a big problem, this next one. Babies are kept away from mum typically for 3 hours at a time. They're put with mum. They learn very quickly they're not going to get fed for 3 hours. They get thirsty. When they get to have mum, they are just hell for leather, trying to slurp up as much milk as they can, beating off everybody else. And the next thing you know, they've got milk running down their noses because they've been going for it so hard. And mum's milk has built up pressure for all this time because she hasn't been allowed to nurse for three hours. So the next thing you see is you see milk aspiration. That then develops into pneumonia, and the next thing you know is that you've got puppies that start losing puppies. So I'm a firm believer, and I mean, I can tell you by our experience with this, is that we don't separate babies from mothers ever, unless we have a sick baby, and that's a whole different story. So why do we sell a product? This one here, we've got two different versions. This one, it looks huge because you're kind of up close, but it's about the size of a really decent sized handbag, and it weighs 7 pounds. So it's very, very portable. When do we use this? Every single time we go to the vet. So one of the great places to have an incubator, and by the way, I don't know of any other portable incubator that runs on 12 volts, is getting vets back from a C-section or taking puppies to the vets where you want to isolate them, because guess what? Where do sick puppies end up being? At the vet's office. Those are the places where dogs that have got parvo and coccidia and brucellosis and giardia, and kennel cough and bordetella, they all go to the vet. And the moment you walk in the doors, you're potentially subjecting your very critically not immune responsive babies, haven't developed any decent immune response yet, to pathogens that just can do them in. So our puppies go in this. That, by the way, is a heat gun, so I can just demonstrate. Let's just show this off real quick. So right now, you can see it's set for 38 degrees. I'm going to open this thing up. I'm going to fire a heat gun in here. And it's 37.5, so it's pretty damn close to 38 degrees. And this thing maintains a temperature. And since it runs off either 12 volts or 110, you can use this in your car, which means that you can bring babies back from the vet. And it means that you can then use it at home. I leave this plugged in for the first 3 weeks. If I've got a sick baby, it is going to go in here and it is going to get special treatment. So we're going to talk about special treatment here in a bit. But the point here is that I think that everybody should have an incubator. But it should be one of those things that you use rarely, always to and from the vet, and only in the event that you've got puppies that are having problems. And typically it's only 1 or 2 puppies. I mean, for us, now if we have a large litter, 8 puppies, you can bet your bottom dollar that there's going to be a small puppy or 2 in there. But they're going to be like, 4-ounce puppies, 5-ounce puppies. Those puppies typically are going to have a really difficult time. And so the secret to that is in the incubator, and then tube feed, and weigh them on a daily basis and get them back up to the weight of the other puppies. And then they can go back with mum and be in there all the time. Of course, something else that this does is it doesn't ruin your life. So one of the things that I see people doing is they've got to get up every 3 hours in the night. They can't go to work because they've got to feed puppies because they're in an incubator. Stop doing that. Let mum and the babies coexist, and let the babies nurse when they're ready, and don't ruin this baby-mother bond where mum's getting really anxious. So we're going to take more about that here in a second, but I've prattled on along about this, so I'm now going to look at some questions. So Sonny Jones says, having lost 2 English Bulldogs and a 4th previously, glad to say my Frenchies weren't bothered by the fireworks. That's a great thing. I did a video on this some time ago about making sure that your dogs are inside in areas where they're not being disturbed by the fireworks, where it hope doesn't sound much more than a thunderstorm going on. Joshua Fernandez, 2-day-old pups. How long should they be feeding per time? How much is too little? So here we are, Joshua. We're back to this. You're doing what I don't suggest that you do. You're separating mum and babies. But if you are going to do that, the rule of thumb is feed puppies every 3 hours. And if you're going to feed by a bottle or by a tube feeding, you feed them what they weigh in ounces, you feed in mils. So a 5-ounce puppy gets 5 mils or 5 cc's of goat's milk every 3 hours. Not what we recommend, because I've just a diatribe that I was going through. All right. Holland Quag is here from Prior. Hey, we did a video, by the way, of these little puppies, and your boy is in there just being a little monster. So that I don't think I haven't released that video. I will tomorrow. You get to see your little boy. He's beautiful. Cynthia Gale, about your equipment with the incubator, what should I put down in the large incubator for the babies to lay on while inside? So yeah, a great question. So look, what we do is you can do nothing more than a couple of paper towels. This is very, very simple. Just pop a paper towel or two in the bottom of it. Why a paper towel? Because it soaks up all the pee and poop, and you can very quickly clean it up. That's another great thing, by the way. I'm just going to grab a bottle here, so I'll be off camera for a second. Is the majority of incubators that you see out there have fans and light bulbs. And so they heat the air up by passing fan over a light bulb. And there's a couple of reasons why I invented this system when I saw those incubators. The first one is it dries the air out. So it does require a nebulizer in those systems. And the second thing is that there's then openings where there's things like fan openings for air to go in and out, and light bulbs that can break and fans that can get clogged up. With this system, you can there is not an opening anywhere on this thing anywhere at all. It's completely a sealed plastic container, which means that you can take some good old bleach, get a few spritzes of that in there, take a safe paper towel, and you've got that thing cleaned up in no time whatsoever at all. So I may have lost my microphone as I had this cover on my microphone. I apologize for this. And by the way, there is a light in here. There is a light there. You can see a light right there. There's a light that lights up the whole inside at night time. But so what would I put in there? Well, Tammy, sometimes when she comes back from the vet, she'll put some towels down. What do you use for hand towels, Tammy?
Yeah, little wash rags.
Little wash rag hand towels when we go to the vet because they're a bit more comfy.
And they're thinner, so
yep. And the heat comes up through it.
Yeah, it soaks up any.
Yeah, I'll leave some room for Tammy to come. There's your microphone there, Tammy.
Yeah.
So I mean, you can put pee pads down there. You just don't want to put a mass of heavy towels in there because the heat comes up from the floor in this thing. So the way this works is there is no moving parts. This is the heating element that we bury in the floor. You can't see it. It's buried inside the unit. It runs on 12 volts. The heat comes up through this. So the puppies are basically, they're separated by the plastic floor, but the heat comes up into the babies as opposed to circulating air that then dries out that requires a nebulizer. So this system here, first off, there's nothing to break. I mean, you can take this thing and you can knock the crap out of it, and it's not going to hurt it.
Yeah. You showed a deal where you dropped it on the ground.
Okay. So anyway,
No,
so that was
my phone.
I will just a second. So I'll answer that question there. Let me just keep on going with this.
Okay.
So Brent Moore Cavalier says, I love all your videos and the information you share. You're welcome. And we've got Dwayne Stubblefields here. Great. Cynthia Gale says, love the wash rag idea. Yes, works great. And by the way, I'm going to give some information on the website. I'll attach this. But Cody, who now has My Breeder Supply, it's not our business anymore. It's family owned. We're related.
We're all still in it, though.
We're all still in it, but it's really Cody's business. He's got a 4th of July sale going on for 24% off all stocked items. So just about everything's in stock. The only thing that I know that's not in stock is the progesterone testing machine. Everything else, I believe, is in stock. 24% off. It only runs through Monday. That is a heck of a deal. Which means that this thing that's normally $317, the large one's the same price. Now you're getting about $80 off it, which is kind of nice. Okay.
Maybe that's for you.
All right. So there we go on incubators. I'm not gonna prattle on any more about. Well, I will say one more thing about incubators. A great thing to have with an incubator is an oxygen machine. So, once we've come home from the vet, and I'm sitting on there it is. That's my bus. That is the 12-volt adapter. It comes with all the adapters. So you can, and by the way, if you go look at a pet brooder, I think a pet brooder currently is $1,300. This thing here is a quarter of the price as our regular price, is a quarter of the price of pet brooder. It's a lot more versatile. Pet brooder is not portable. And so the whole idea about a pet brooder, by the way, is that you leave your puppies in there all the time. And do you like that idea?
Yeah.
About leaving puppies in a brooder?
No, I don't.
No, I don't either. Right,
yeah.
Exactly. Yes. Right, okay. So
it's not allowed.
Not in our house.
Not in our house.
No, that's right.
Or my daughters
There's-
or my sons.
Yeah, none of us use it. We haven't been
That's-
using it for a long, long time. And we just
Takes
don't.
time.
I mean, it's not to say that it's not, that we never lose a puppy, because, you can have puppies that have internal problems, but for us, it virtually never happens. Certainly at birth with a big litter, small puppies, yes, incubator, quite a bit of work, getting up in the middle of the night every 3 hours to tube feed those puppies and get them back up. Certainly, there's some effort that goes. This litter we have right now, 3 puppies, small litter. How much work have we done?
I like small litters. They're all nice and healthy.
How much work have we done?
Oh, Kit did a fantastic job. Now we're starting to do our work.
Not much of it.
Because,
Yeah.
yeah, because,
Well, we're week 9 too.
yeah, week 9, exactly.
So we're week 9.
Yeah.
So we just separated mum from babies, and now
Yes.
they've weaned.
This is day 3, I think.
But go back. How much time a day do you spend messing around with the puppies for those first 9 weeks?
Just first thing in the morning after they eat something, that's probably my most big time right there.
Go.
Cleaning up after them, keeping them from trying to eat poop.
Yeah. So that's another thing. That's another
When
thing.
you leave them with mama longer, they learn from mama on licking up the mess, because Kit,
Yes.
she would still clean them today.
I'm going to talk about all that at the back end of this. I'm going to talk about how you fix that problem. So I think we've got a solution that we've been working on that we're about ready to release the information on, about how you fix this problem. It is a big problem with, number one, the biggest thing for us is probably picking up the mess. And the problem is
before they get into it.
Before they get into it. And then the problem is that Mum, Kit, would gobble up every piece of crap that
they'd watch her and they'd hear her eat it. So that's where they
learn that response. And so we're going to talk more about that here in a bit. All right, so I'm trying to get you set up here. Here you go. There you go.
I'm Ju. I'm the co-founder and CEO of
you're
Hero
not
Cosmetics,
that.
and I founded the
Can you turn your
viral
volume
Mighty
off?
Patch.
Yeah,
I was
will.
living in Korea from 2012 to
Auntie Roland says, "Do you still have the velvet big rope?" No, she is adopted. Sorry, you're too late on that one.
I have my little boy still available, the little sable boy.
Yes. And we're going to talk more about that here in the back end.
I figured you
So
would.
Alexander D says, "No merle to merle, very bad." You're right. You don't put merles with
You
merles.
don't do merle to merle.
Why don't you put merles with merles?
Because you'll have deaf and blind dogs.
Right.
Or worse.
If you've got a merle that's been bred properly, it only has a single copy. It came from a mother and father where either the mother or the father was a merle and the other was not. And so consequently, it only got a single copy of merle. And because of that, only half the litter typically are merles. If you get a double merle dog, it likely to be deaf and blind. So you just don't want to go down that road. So Alexander's exactly right.
If you've got a cream dog, you need to test it to make sure. If you don't know what the parents were, you need to make sure that it isn't a merle.
So what Tammy's saying is that cream covers up everything, including merle. So if you have a merle dog that's covered in cream, you wouldn't know it unless you know the parents. So especially if your puppy came from a litter where there are merle puppies or a merle parent, and your dog is cream, you must test.
Yes.
If you're going to breed back to a merle.
If it's a cryptic merle, you can get away with it.
Yes, which, by the way, we've hardly ever seen.
Yeah.
So a cryptic merle is a number with a low number or an MC on it. You can breed a cryptic merle from merle. Right. Okay, Cynthia Gale, could you show me where you would insert the oxygen hose in the incubator? Yes, so that's a great question. But before I get there, I'm going to talk about oxygen concentrators, since you've just segued into that.
That has saved lives.
It has. So here comes, it's a big old monster. It's not that big, but it's got some meat to it.
You can tell James's age. It's hard for him to get up and get down.
Oh, be quiet. I use this thing on myself all the time when I can't get up. I sit here all day long.
Right.
I just have hits of oxygen all day long, and it makes me feel great. No, this is an oxygen concentrator. Let's turn it on. I've got to see where the on button is. There it is. And you could probably hear a little bit of a hissing and a noise as it's making oxygen.
I can't when you're talking.
So it looks huge there, but it's not. It's about the size of a bread maker. It weighs about 11, 12 pounds. It is not portable. It has to be plugged into 110. And it comes with all the necessary stuff. So it comes with all the hoses. It comes with
The masks that you normally get with these things won't fit a puppy.
No.
So this cup works great. That puppy fits right in there, especially newborn puppies. You can put a whole newborn puppy in that if it's a French Bulldog. Or Chihuahua. Good lands of
Comes
Chihuahua.
with a nebulizer, so you can put nebulizer. I'm going to turn this off. By the way, it'll talk to you if you want it to. So you can set
What'd she say?
She says voice on.
Okay.
3 liters. 4 liters.
Oh.
We set the thing to one liter because that is the best oxygen concentration at 90%. So, and you can set this so it only goes on for a certain amount of time, or you can have it on continuously. We use it continuously. It'll do an ion exchange where it'll.
Ion purification is on.
So you can have purification with ion if you want to use that, which doesn't hurt a thing. So I'm going to turn this off so we don't have to listen to it.
The oxygen therapy is over.
Okay. So Tammy was saying.
Oxygen therapy is beginning.
Stop it.
Voice off.
Voice off.
No, right here. On and off.
There we go. It's on.
Engineering degree, right?
That's right. So.
Did you turn it off? Did you plug it in?
So there's a tube. So the question that Cynthia asked was, how do you get this thing into the incubator? And the answer is, there is 2 ways that you can do this. So we're going to go back to this demonstration that Tammy had here. So the whole idea behind this is, put the tube in a cup, the puppy, a small puppy, the whole puppy's in there, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
It's getting...
When they're newborns, yeah.
Yes, and it's getting, which is typically
Or
when you need this.
2 weeks, too.
Yeah. They are getting completely enveloped with pure oxygen. Well, 90% oxygen, which makes a huge difference. You know, normal air is like 20% oxygen. When you put them into a 90% oxygen environment, puppies that are having problems breathing, which is one of the biggest
they're
things.
gasping.
Yes, they do.
And have a death cry. I can't stand that.
This is the only thing that I know of combined with an incubator. So people say, oh, I've got to go. I have people all the time calling me up and they say, I've got to go to the emergency room. Nope, don't go to the emergency room. Get yourself an oxygen concentrator and an incubator. You'll do better with those
You'll
puppies.
save a puppy because you're right there at home tending to it immediately
If you
instead of driving, getting there.
Like driving to get there and then leaving
Calling
the puppy.
and making sure and then driving to get
Nobody's there in the middle of the night. They're leaving the puppy alone. And I mean, they got a huge bill at the end of the day. No, it's more than the cost of an oxygen concentrator just in one visit. So oxygen concentrator is a lifesaver. So I'm prattling on here about how do you get this in. So there's 2 ways you can do this. One is you can simply take a pair of scissors, and poke a hole anywhere above this part line. You can poke a hole. There's no electronics in there. Twizzle the scissor a few times to make a hole the right size for this. Pass the tube through and you're done. If you don't want to do that, you can simply open the thing up.
Yep. You could do that, or
Put this inside.
what you can,
Close it up.
yeah,
Just as simple as that.
Yeah,
You've got to be a little careful. You may want to crack it open a little bit so
Yeah.
you don't crush the hose.
right. But you can even not even have that cup too,
Yeah.
and put the hose in there
Absolutely.
without the cup.
Yes, absolutely. So you don't want to go through the vent hole. The vent hole's not big enough. But you can. The best thing to do is, if you're going to use this a lot with oxygen, is just to make a little hole with the parent says, I've got a video on that, and if you want to contact me afterwards, I'll send you that video. But you know, so the reasons that you're using oxygen are typically, number one, you took puppies too early. Premature puppies on a C-section will get in trouble typically at about day 2 through day 4.
Mm.
And what's going on is their lungs, there's a chemical called surfactant that is developed in their lungs the last couple of days when they're in the womb before they're born. And it's kind of an uncrinkling agent. It stops the lung folds from sticking together. So when they come out, the lungs can get expanded properly. If that surfactant's not there, the lungs tend to stick together and they have poor volume. And you'd think they'd be in trouble immediately, but they're not. The sure sign you're in trouble is you've got a puppy's born with slick faces. They look leathery looking faces. You've got some problems
Or
coming up.
shiny.
Yeah. So what you do, you have to have
No
an oxygen.
hair.
Yes, no hair on the face. You've got to have an incubator. You've got to have an oxygen concentrator. Then the other one that happens is milk aspiration and pneumonia. That's another big
Oh
one.
yeah.
So those puppies, they need oxygen,
And that's
incubator.
about within 5 days. isn't
Yeah,
it?
and clavamox. Yeah, within a few days of them getting
Mhm.
aspirated, some of those puppies can develop pneumonia.
Mhm.
And puppies with pneumonia that don't have antibiotics, which would be clavamox, an oxygen concentrator and incubator, they won't survive for the most part. For the most part. So who should be getting this stuff? I mean, the answer is if you're going to do any
If you're
breeding.
going to be doing any breeding, it's well worth it.
Right. Yes.
Well worth it.
Right. All right. So we've got quite a few people. We haven't driven people away yet. Talking about equipment, good. We've got 17 likes. Let's see if we can't double that in the next half an hour. Okay.
So how long is Cody running that special?
Till Monday.
Till Monday.
You've got
till
this evening and tomorrow to get an order in if you want to do it. So he's got 24% off, which on anything that you get on the site. The only thing that I know of that's not available is the progesterone machine. So we're going to talk about some of this other equipment. But let's see what we've got for questions. What have we got for questions, Tammy?
Oh, I was listening to you.
Okay.
Believe it or not. Oh, I don't have my questions on here.
Okay. So GNC Master said, we had one of your oxygen concentrators. We had to use it. I was glad I had it. I always take it when we do C-sections, help with the babies up from anesthesia. Well, that's exactly right too. So that's a very good idea. And we don't do that, and we probably should, because most of these vets don't have an oxygen supply. And so it's not a bad idea to give them pure oxygen, because I'm going to start doing exactly that. This is why this is so useful to us. So it's silly that we don't take the oxygen concentrator with us. And just do this. Live chat. Sorry. I'll do it here in a second. I'll get that. There you go. Yeah. So that's a great idea, because look, one of the things that is so worrisome is you have a C-section. The puppies have got some of the anesthesia that's knocked mum out, and they're just sluggish, and it's taken them a while to get going. And I can tell you, I think it's a great idea to give them some pure oxygen right there for the first half an hour, first hour of their life before you leave the vet. I think that's a great idea. We're going to start doing that. Jay finessed it. Jay's always late. Jay says, finally made it here. What did I miss? Oh, you missed all the good stuff.
I'm always late too.
Yeah. So Erin Primo Fiore says, our puppies are 6 weeks old. Our mama is still producing milk, but she's not letting pups nurse. She's been a great first-time mum. What should we do? Right. So let's talk about this. So let's talk about problems with mums. First off, a big one is mums don't want to be around their babies. They want to reject their babies. And one of the big reasons that happens, of course, is because you've been using an incubator and you haven't forced mum to be in with the babies. What do we do? Tell us what we do when we first come home, Tammy. Give us a timeline of what you do when we first come home.
I make sure mama's good and awake.
How long does that take?
Well, we travel probably 40 minutes back home.
Yep.
And she's probably laid there on the table for a bit.
30 minutes.
So probably by the time we get home, within 30 minutes, I'm introducing a puppy to her. I'm cupping the puppy in my hand like this, and its back end only is sticking out just a little bit for her to smell.
So do it. I'm mum. You put your hand up on my face. Do it.
Here, I'm going to grab something that's going to pretend it's a puppy.
You don't want me as a okay.
No,
yes,
no,
okay.
no. Pretend this is a puppy.
Yep.
And I've got it in my hand, and I only let that back in, and I'll let mama dog know. If you're going to be like that, I'm not going to do it.
No, I'm just being serious.
No, that's being.
I'm being serious. Okay, but
No,
mom,
Mom
go ahead.
isn't doing that.
Mama dog.
She's just wanting to smell it. Reason why I put the back in first and keep the little legs tucked in is so she doesn't bite it. If
She's confused.
yeah, she's confused from having the C-section done.
No, nobody told
you
her.
don't want to do the head.
Nobody told her the day beforehand. Yeah. By the way,
especially a brand new mama.
You're going to have a C-section. We're going to cut you open and pull these puppies out. She's got no clue. She's coming home. She doesn't feel good. She's grumpy.
Yeah.
And someone is putting a smelly rat up in her face.
Yeah.
So,
and I'm telling her she did a good job.
Yep.
She's a good mama. And oh, the baby's so pretty. You know, I'm doing all this stuff. And once she kind of like, okay. And then I'll take that one puppy and attach it to her.
Hopefully she sniffed and licked on it a bit too.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, you hope she does.
Right.
And if she doesn't, it's new mamas are real, you know.
But then what are you going to do?
And then I put the baby to a teat and let the baby get hooked on it.
Yep.
And once that baby's there, I'll tell mama dog, oh, you're so good. You're doing a good job. Then I'll get another puppy and do the exact same thing.
So what happens if mum wants to get up and doesn't want you to put that puppy on?
Make her lay down.
Make her lay down.
Mm-hmm.
So this is your question
I'll tell
here
her,
is,
no, you lay down. These are your babies. And, you know, you're always afraid, oh, they got stitches in their belly. It's
Never a
you
problem.
just you just make them lay down.
so they're in a crate.
Or if she insists on setting up, let one puppy, you know, be nursing. If you got a whole bunch of puppies,
She's not
you're
leaving.
gonna need
She's
to
not
let her
leaving.
make her lay
She's
down.
in a crate.
Mhm.
She's in a crate. Tammy's got her head in the crate with her.
Oh yeah.
We use a wire crate, 42 by 28 with a double door. It's got one big door on the side of it, which is great because I did a video with Tammy's inside one of those things, so I can get Tammy inside it. And if she misbehaves, I might do another video of her in there. But the point is, Mum is in there. Tammy's covering up the opening. She cannot get out, and she's not getting out. She's not getting out. So what do you do if you've got a mum that's aggressive? We've never seen this, but you could put a muzzle on them. Put a muzzle on her. You can take a pantyhose and you can cut out the bottom of a pantyhose.
No, you just cut one leg off of the pantyhose.
Yeah, right.
And you just wrap it around her face this way
Yep.
and bring it back around her
Right.
head this way, and that helps keep her from opening her
Cut her
mouth.
You can take her tongue out.
She'll still breathe and have her tongue sticking out, but at least she's not opening it to bite. If you have a mama dog that's a little rough, normally that's not the way they are, but you never know about hormones and stuff changing. And if they're not completely awake out of that anesthesia, they could do that. Or if you have your face in that cage with that mama dog, she could accidentally bite you and not knowing who you are.
Yeah, be
She's
careful,
just
especially if you've got
goofy
dogs
after
like German
anesthetic.
Shepherds and things like that. With putting
Ones with snouts, you definitely
with snouts.
don't
Be
want
careful.
to be
You don't
doing
want to
that.
get bit in the face. So especially if you've got a mum that's still under the effects of anesthesia and she's goofy, she may do things that are not normal behavior. So just look, with a French bulldog is not going to do much damage. I mean, it's not. I mean, it could maybe bite you in your nose, but
pinch the fire out
but
of you, I'm
a German
sure.
Shepherd, nothing against German Shepherds. I'm not saying they're aggressive dogs, but the point here is that they can bite the living crap out of you. And you'll see things on TV shows where some TV personality has got a dog in there that's from the pound, and they put their face down there and they get bit in the face, and it ruins their whole life. So you've got to win the battle. Now that's not really what you are. So what was asked here was, Erin says the puppies are 6 weeks old and our mum is still producing milk. She's not letting the puppies nurse. So
it says she has been a great first-time mama.
Yes.
What should we do?
So
they're 6 weeks old.
Yes.
You could probably go ahead and wean those babies.
Absolutely.
Because there's some people that want to start it at 4 weeks, 5 weeks.
What's mum saying?
So, mom's probably thinking, yay.
I've had enough.
Yeah.
I've had enough.
But you want to make sure she doesn't get mastitis on.
So you don't just
being
cold
separated.
turkey.
Yeah.
You don't cold turkey. Tell us how we did Kit this last time. How do we do
Oh,
Kit?
we did it twice a day with her, that she would nurse babies, and then we went down to one a day, and then from there on we went from one a day to nothing. And that's where
one
we're
a day
at
to
right
just
now.
5 minutes in the morning, and that was it. And then she was out of there. That was it.
And she was slowly drying up.
She's
So
slowly drying up.
that was helping her and helping the puppies
Yes.
to realize.
But if you've got a puppy that's full of milk and bags, and if you don't let that thing drain with nursing, or you do it by hand, if you don't do that.
And the reason why she's probably not, have you been cutting the toenails? That's one thing that you want to make sure you got toenails cut.
Sure.
And remember, they start getting teeth at 3 weeks. And if there's a whole bunch of puppies and they're trying to get dinner, they're biting and hanging on to the teeth.
They're pulling on teeth. And
it's very uncomfortable for a dog.
You
It'd be
go get
uncomfortable for you. Just think about it.
Get some hand cream and make sure the nails aren't long. Get some hand cream and get she's red underneath and scratched up. Be aware of that and kind of help treat that. But look, there's no reason.
Their little toenails will hook
Yes.
like a little hook.
Yes.
And they're constantly doing this or fighting each other, to get that.
Oh, they can scratch an eye. You can have an ulcerated eye on a puppy if you don't get those nails short. So keep the nails short. Look after mum. Make sure that she is getting drained. Wean her off over a period of about a week and get her away from the litter at 6 weeks. You can start weaning probably 6 weeks is fine.
Yeah.
I mean, for us, we like Kit to be with the babies.
Remember, make the mousse real mushy.
Yes, that's another
goat's
thing
milk.
about. Yes, right.
Mix it up with goat milk. Make it a thick gravy when you're first doing it. Of course, they already have teeth, so they're probably going to be fine with
So
just
now
mush.
comes some questions on the heated whelping system. So we're going to talk about that next. By the way, Above All King says, what DNA test do you recommend? We go to Animal Genetics. We like them because they're quick. We do a complete coat color. If we've got a merle, we'll do the merle test probably as well. If we've got fluffies, we'll probably add the hair furnishings test on it. And then we typically do a 4-panel health test. There are 6 and 7-panel health tests. I think some of this stuff is getting pretty ridiculous.
You need to watch out on when you get your test back to make sure everything's correct. You need that helps you to you need to know mom and dad's DNA. And then you have a good idea, or you'll definitely know what these puppies are supposed to be.
Example would be, you got a cream mother, and every puppy from that has to have at least one copy of cream, and it shows that none of them have got it.
Yeah.
There you go. That's
or
right.
if you don't have any brindle present whatsoever in either one of the parents, and it shows up brindle.
Yeah,
that's wrong.
So
and they
yeah, they'll retest.
They'll retest,
They'll
and
retest,
it's no
right.
charge
Yes.
because it's already there.
Yep. So, right. So now I want to talk about the whelping environment because I've got a few questions about how we do that, how long we leave them in there for. And so this is really the key to everything that we've been doing, isn't it, for the last 15 years, is really based on this product right here. So what is it? So the
It is
idea,
a lifesaver.
this is something.
Everything we've showed you is a lifesaver.
It really is. It really is. And I mean, you know, it's a bit
And
difficult.
remember, we've been doing this for 23 years. And when James started doing all this stuff, it was like, and finished the product.
Well, all these things.
It was like, how did we ever do this?
Yeah.
We lost puppies before
Beforehand.
we
did.
had this.
And we lost, we almost had divorces over having to get up in the middle of the night and all that stuff too. So,
yeah.
All right. So what are
this will let you sleep at night.
Well, it'll do a lot more than that, in my opinion. But so
yeah, well.
So what is this? This is a heat tape. I'm going to spread it out here real quick. So it's too big to see. It's too big. This fits on the bottom of a tray. Let's just. So this is we custom build this. And basically, this is a heat tape. Can you hold that, Tammy?
Yeah.
That plugs into a thermostat. Here's a thermostat, and you can set up the temperature, and it makes this thing that exact temperature. So why does this work? Because here's the things that you've got to have. If you don't have heat for your puppies, and I'll get people say, "Oh, I'll just heat the room up to 100 degrees." That ain't happening. Your mama dog will freaking hate you if you do that.
If you got tile floors without heat on the tile floors, it's cold.
So the common ways that
puppies
people
are gonna
solve
get
this
cold.
problem is they put a heat pad down underneath mum, or they use a heat lamp above.
Yeah, and the heat pad, you have to have the extension cord to it. The cord to it alone is inside the cage with mama. And she sees a strange object in the cage, and she wants it out of there, and she's going to bite it. So and it's plugged into the wall, so you're going to electrocute your dog.
Heat pads that you buy for human beings, they have timers on these days. They run for a couple of hours and they shut off. So that's a problem.
Yeah.
You can't make the thing run continuously. You've got to get up every few hours to press the button and reset it. So that's not any good. The big problem is you're heating up everybody in that crate, including mum in the middle of it. She is the one.
Well, with that heat lamp, they are.
Oh, it's even worse.
Even though it has a timer on it, you're still heating up mama, and she does not like that heat.
She doesn't want any heat at all. She's already got a fur. She's already panting.
That third day, that milk's coming in.
She's panting away. Even with this
heat.
system, she's still hot. So a heat lamp you put up above, guess who's closest to the heat lamp? Mum, because she's bigger. She's further off the floor than the babies. She's getting cooked. She's getting up and down. Next thing you know, she stepped on puppies. So none of those are good solutions. By the way,
pig rail comes in.
So why don't you hold that for a second here?
Okay.
So the next thing is that you've got to have a pig rail. And what a pig rail is basically a ledge all the way around the inside of your crate that puppies, if they get pushed up against the wall because mum's fallen asleep, they won't get squished. And so that's paramount. You have to have a pig rail. So we've built a system that's based on...
Those are the corners.
Those are the corner pieces. You get 4 of these. You put a piece of PVC pipe that you get from the local hardware store between these 4 corners.
PVC pipe fits in there.
Yep. All fits together in seconds. This then sits off the floor like this.
Of course, you give the measurements of your floor of your tray.
Right. This little piece we give you as well stops puppies getting behind and getting trapped. But that gives you this safe area where if mum will fall asleep, she will move around in her sleep, and they will get a puppy, will get behind her. This stops that puppy. It's got escape route. It's not going to get squished, and it has an
Going to
escape
be
route.
underneath the pig rail,
Which is
nice and warm.
where the tape is.
The heat tape is underneath the tray. So
So
the
the mum
pig
can't get to
rail
it. Pig rail's on top of it.
Yeah, yeah.
So
And
here's
the tray's on top of it.
here's a corner
this.
right here, and there's a corner, and that pig rail sits above it like this.
Right in here. And those puppies are nice and warm right there.
So what you'll see is
And mama's nice and cool in the middle of that tray.
95% of the time, the puppy's not at the pig rail, asleep. Mum's in there. She's not getting anxious because she's with her babies. She's not getting up and down. She's not getting hot. You haven't broken the bond between mum and babies. The babies feed under their own schedule, not yours. You're asleep in bed. You're not getting up every 3 hours. You just leave them, let them get on with it.
And they all work in shifts.
Yes.
So they're keeping mama empty pretty good.
Yes.
You know, she's not being separated from the puppies 2 to 3 hours and building up milk hugely. And then when she's with them, she just squirts the milk out everywhere. And that's where the aspiration comes in on the puppies.
Right.
And aspirating pneumonia kicks in.
Right.
So what you do is if you have 6 puppies, let's say 3 are nursing on her. They're in the middle of the floor with her, nursing on her. The other 3 are probably, or we know that they're over there at the heat tape under the pig rail sleeping. And those 3 puppies that are on mama nursing, and they get full and they go to sleep and they fall off onto that cool floor that mama's on, which they don't like. Even though mama's warm, that cool floor, they're like, and they go straight back over there to the heat.
They just move around until they find it.
Where the other puppies are, their heated body, those puppies feel that and that heat tape. They go straight over there to those other puppies, wake those puppies up that are sleeping there nice and warm, wake them up, and they're like, oh, I smell milk. You know, I'm going to go over to mama. And they go over there to mama and they nurse. So they're keeping her.
It is, honestly, this is magical the way this works. I mean, it really is magical. And I mean, when you experience this, you will realize that if you did it any other way, you've missed the boat. It's as simple as that. So all of the people who are sending puppies off to whelpers, you should tell your whelpers about this, because they are, I'll tell you a horrible story. So this is a story that happened to me. This is on my last litter with a co-own, where I was not there looking after these puppies. They were in Atlanta. So the puppies were at the whelper. So this guy that I co-owned with, he wanted to use a whelper. The whelper succeeded in killing 2 of the 3 puppies. One of those, I mean, it's just, it shouldn't have happened. And it happened because they don't have a proper setup. This heat tape is the proper heat tape, and the pig rail. You can buy a crate on Amazon for like $65. You don't have to have anything special. We can tailor it to any size crate you want to have. You can build your own crate. You could use a paddling pool. I don't really like that solution because mama can get out of it, but you can do it in a paddling pool. You can go buy an easy whelp. You can buy a Dura whelp. It doesn't matter what you come up with. We can build a system for a couple $100 that will go underneath that, and it will absolutely make your puppy safer, your mum and your baby's bond intact, and your life much easier because you don't have to get up in the middle of the night. All right, enough of that. Well, here's Cynthia Gale, question on the oxygen machine. How do you refill the oxygen? You don't. It makes it out of the air. So you've got 2 ways of doing oxygen. One is you go get oxygen tanks, which requires a script from the vet. You can't just go get oxygen. You have to get a script from the vet. They come in small tanks, and you have to have a number of them because you don't want to run out. And you've got to keep changing tanks out as the pressure drops down below, a few pounds. Or you go buy an oxygen concentrator, this guy right here, and that makes oxygen out of thin air. There is nothing to replace. It just keeps on ticking, and all the time that it's on, it's got what's called a molecular sieve in it that takes molecules of oxygen and nitrogen and whatever else in the air and separates out the oxygen and gets that through the tube to your puppies. 90% oxygen, nothing to refill. So Blazing Color said, 100%, love your whelp heated rail system. Just raised 9 Frenchies with it. Made my life so easy. Love, love, love it. Well, thank you, Blazing Colors. And you're absolutely right. I mean, I feel like a bit of a turd here when we're doing this, and it feels like we're trying to sell you product. And of course, we do have a vested interest in this. And, well, I don't actually anymore because it's not our business anymore. But we try to always give information about things that we use or information we've got from other people that works. And the answer is, of all the things that you can do, I think that's, as far as whelping puppies, that is probably the single best thing that you can do is that system. And it's patented by me. Nobody else can sell you that system. You could probably build your own, but nobody else can tell it to you because I patented that idea. Okay. What temperature did you set the thermostat for the heat tape? 104 degrees is good. So people say, God, that seems hot. But think of it this way. Your body temperature is like 98. It's almost at 100 degrees. If you have it at 104, it doesn't feel crazy hot. It just feels mildly warm, doesn't it? It's not crazy hot. And remember, yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, that's where you want because the tray is slick, you want a thin, and I do a white towel. I buy these towels at Walmart, the real cheap ones, and I lay that towel on there so there's some traction for those puppies to get a hold of and be able to scoot around to mama with the pee pad at one end. That's what I was going to say. And it's warm enough to go through that towel. Now, if you put a thick towel there, you're going to have, harder time for the heat to come up through that.
Yeah, I got people who say, hey, I built my own cage. I made the bottom about a 1/2-inch plywood. You can't stick that on the bottom of a 1/2-inch plywood and he won't go through it. What you have to do is you have to put down a linoleum floor above it, stick it to the linoleum floor. It's easy to do. I've got videos on how to do this. But there's something else here is you can't make it too hot because, look, it's like a fireplace. On a winter's night and we've got a fire over here. The fire is beautiful. It's roaring. You don't stand in the fire. You stand just the right place where it's nice for you. If you got the heat tape too hot, the puppy would just move off it a little bit. So there's never a problem with incubators. A different story. You could cook a puppy in an incubator. You get the incubator set wrong, that's a bad day.
You see a little puppy panting, you better be
if they're
opening up that lid.
If they're climbing up the walls or they're panting, you've got it set too high. Turn it down a couple of degrees centigrade. Yes. So here's
let me say this. Also, in the wintertime, if you've got tile floors or you've got linoleum and no heated floors at home, lay a beach towel down and then put your puppy pen or cage that you're using the heat tape with.
Isolate it.
Yeah, isolate it.
Cement floors, tile floors, they're cold.
Yeah, they're cold.
And what else you do as well is you put a blanket over the whole thing, don't you?
Yeah, I put a blanket over the whole thing like if you were covering up a bird for at night to be quiet.
But you do it all the time.
Yeah.
Why do you do it?
Why? Because of any kind of draft that comes in to those puppies, they will get a cold.
Yes. So
and I'll leave a little cracked open area for mama to be able to make sure, I'm not in here, stuck in here. That way she gets to peek out every once in a while and see what's going on. But if you have other animals there, that gives her a secure feeling that she doesn't have to worry about another animal coming in to her cage because it's covered.
If you had a natural whelp, your dog had puppies while we're not saying you should do this, but if your dog had puppies while you're at work in your house, where do you think the puppies would end up being? Under the bed? In the closet?
In the closet.
Somewhere dark without
laundry room.
Where she can protect herself from all sides.
Yeah.
So this is the whole idea about putting a blanket on it. She's protected on all sides with an opening in one place so she can see what's going on. The warmth is kept in there, which is great, and it stops any drafts. So, with Kit, if somebody walked into it's in the kitchen. If somebody walks in the kitchen, she knows. She just magically knows it's us. But if it's somebody else, what does she do?
Oh, she barks.
She barks. She barks. She lets out a warning bark.
That's her babies.
Yeah. The moment she sees
babies in here,
she's just letting people know.
Stay away.
That's right. She's being an instinctive mom. And she wants to make sure her babies are safe.
Yeah. And
so she doesn't want to have to protect herself from 4 different sides. She just seems to protect herself from one area, which is just where the opening is. Right. Good question from Nacho Line. How do you know the oxygen machine is working and is it flammable? So that's a 2-part question. So here's the answer to this. The first one is, if you want to know whether an oxygen machine is working, first off, you can go look at one of my videos that shows me doing this. What you do is you turn the oxygen machine on, so there's oxygen coming out the end of this. You go get a toothpick and you light the toothpick so the toothpick is on fire. You blow the toothpick out and you put that glowing ember of a toothpick in this line of this oxygen coming out, and it will spring back to flame. If you blow on it, it'll just glow. If you put it in pure oxygen, it'll just erupt right back into flame. Be careful, don't hurt yourself. So is there a problem with flammability in your house? No. The amount of oxygen that's being produced in a house is small compared to the volume of the house. So there's, it's just like human beings. Look, you don't smoke while you're using an oxygen machine if you're using it for your own. That's it. That's basically it. So, don't have naked flames close to where this is. But the moment it's come out of here, it's in the atmosphere, and very quickly it's diluted down to just regular atmosphere. It won't catch anything on fire. But I mean, if you had this thing, in a closet that was very, very confined closet, I would say no, that wouldn't be a good idea. So in an oxygen concentrator, when you've got it inside this, it is a kind of an environment. That's why we recommend you do have this thing cracked open a little bit to let some kind of ventilation going on. All right.
Did you read this one where he said his dog smothered?
No, let's go with that one. Let's go with that
Yeah.
one. Why don't you read that one out?
Yeah. I caught my dog smothering her pups, so it's a risk for my kennel until I buy a whelping pen. So I've never seen a dog smother puppies.
Oh, no.
I've seen cats.
Well, no. So this is what I take on this. She says, until I get a whelping pen. You've got to have a setup with a pig rope. If you don't have that, you're asking for trouble. You're asking for trouble because mum will fall asleep and she will lay on a puppy that's in her way without realizing it. So the idea behind our system is the place that the puppies like is where the heat is, which is under the pig rail, and that's where they are. So when mum gets up and down, she doesn't step on a puppy or smother a puppy because the chances of it being underneath her are remote. It's not to say it can't happen, but it makes a dramatic difference. Think of it this way. If you had a heat pad there, the puppies could be anywhere. And if mum's not liking the heat and she's getting up and down, very likely she's going to step on or sit on a puppy. So you've got to have a pig rail. And in our opinion, if you're going to leave the mum and babes together, you must have a pig rail. And it makes sense to use our heated whelping system. So that's the solution.
She says your heated whelping system is genius. That's what we think too. Thank you.
My dog is 50 pounds, sure. And not a 30-pound Frenchie. I understand that. I mean, we used to have labs. We did the same system with labs. So there's 70, 80-pound labs, same setup with 70, 80-pound labs, and it worked great. So remember, the whole idea behind this is that mum is not getting up and down. She's comfortable laying down. She does not experience too much heat. And if she does get up and down, the chances are that the only puppy that's there is the one that's nursing on her. The rest of them are under the pig rail where they're not going to get stepped on. That's why this works.
Okay, Mike Garcia. Good evening, guys. My Fluffy is turning 13 weeks old this Wednesday. How often should he be fed throughout the day? Well, I would put food out in the morning, and in a couple hours, if he's quit eating on it, I would put it up, because you know what he's going to do if he eats and grazes all day long. He's going to potty most of the day.
And you can't train him.
Right. And if you're lucky to be home during the middle of the day, put his food back out, do the same thing, put it back up, and then put it back out at 5 or 6 and let him eat that, and then put it away for sure, at least by 8, because you're going to take him out to potty within 45 minutes to go outside and go potty. Sometimes they're still going to the bathroom as soon as they get through eating. Young puppies will do that. After they eat and nibble on something, they're going to go potty.
So that's your opportunity to treat them what to do. So I would say something else.
You're training them to decide when to eat. Then I would break it away from 3 times a day and do it twice a day. And do, see how he eats it. If he's 13 weeks, he's probabably eaten a cup to a cup and a half.
Well, it depends on the size of the dog.
Right. Depending on what kind of dog it is.
But basically what we do is we put in, especially if you've got a lot of puppies together, you don't know how much each puppy's eating. We put food out there and let them have it for about 10 minutes. After 10 minutes, most of the puppies have gone away and they're not eating anymore. And then you know that you can take that food away. And then
I leave it in there longer than the 10 minutes.
You do? Okay. Well then.
And right now what I'm doing is soft and dry. So they get a little of both, being able to experience the
'Cause they're 9
harder
weeks old.
kibble. Yeah, because they're
Yeah.
9
Don't let
weeks
them get
old.
choked on hard pop kibble, though, right?
Mhm.
Right. So you wouldn't introduce them that way, would you?
Mhm.
Right.
When am I going to get to bring my little baby out and show everybody that's available?
Right now, because there's 7 minutes left, and I'm going to bring something else out. So why don't you do me a favor first? Why don't you bring me that tray that's out there, that poop tray? Would you
Okay.
bring me that real quick?
Yep.
So I'll talk about that.
Okay.
Okay. Good. Well, I've got, okay. So Mike says, hey, good evening, guys. I have a 7-month-old boy, Frenchie. So why is he eating poop? Great question. And I'm going to show you how you're going to start thinking about fixing that. So this is something I've been working on for some time. So the problem that you have here is that puppies learn to eat poop from their mother. And they learn that from the moment they're born. Mum is licking up their bums, eating the poop.
Don't
They
scratch
poop on the
my leather couch.
Yeah, they thank you. Here's my latest invention right here. All right, so the problem gets to be is they learn this from mum. So I think that your solution, by the way, is you've got to take the puppy outside or the dog outside to poop and get it in the regime that it goes outside to poop and gets a treat when it does it. If it's eating poop, you can do things like put chili powder on poop to try and stop puppies from
Sweet babies.
This system here has been working
sweet
very,
babies.
very, very well. I'm going to start selling these here in the next week or two. In fact, I want to find some people who want to try it out and they'll get it at a reduced price so they can give me some feedback. But the reason that this works, and I spent some time getting this right. So this is, it's got to be firm enough that when the puppy step on it, it doesn't move around. So that'll freak them out. It can't be too high because young puppies can't get up on it. It has to be very easy to change, which this is. It just opens up and it won't, it's attached to it. So you can very quickly change the pad or the paper towels you put inside it. The spacing has to be far enough apart that the poop will fall through, but it has to be close enough that the puppy's feet won't fall through it. So it took quite a bit of experimenting to get this right. So this is a vinyl coated wire that's a rack that is easy to clean up. And what you will find is that very quickly, in fact, what we started doing was when a puppy, there's a puppy behind me there, when a puppy would take a dump, we'd immediately put it on this and make it dump on this. And very quickly, the puppies learn.
Put a piece of poop inside this, and then they smell it and they go to it.
If they pot in the wrong place, didn't catch it, put the poop in this. Put the poop in this. So first off, mum can't get to it. So mum is not, trying to clean up poop as it comes out. Second thing is the puppies very, very quickly learn that this is the place to poop, and they can't eat the poop, and it gets them going in one place. It really, really has been working extremely well. So we've got our first round of manufacturing of these. People who are interested can contact me. I don't know what the price is going to be, but people who try this out will get it at a reduced price to give me feedback on it. But
you're going to have different sizes too.
I'll have different sizes. I'll probably have 2 different sizes. I have one that's longer than this, but we're going to start off with this one here is 16 inches by 30 inches. And that seems to work well. I made some smaller ones up and they weren't working as well. So that's just with 3 puppies. So again, this seems to make life much easier. Very few accidents, easy to clean poop up. That's one of the biggest pain in the butts is cleaning poop up. I didn't like doing it at all. So there's that.
Can I lower that without knocking that off of there?
Yeah, you can.
Yeah.
Let's back this thing off a little bit. Hold on a sec. Okay, sorry. How's that?
Yeah. He's going to put his ears down because I'm got him up higher. He likes to be held in my arms like a little baby. You see his sibling. He's AYAT. He is a fluffy carrier. He carries testable chocolate. He carries cocoa and he carries blue. And his what he can produce is new shaded Isabellas and tans, Rojo and tans, lilac and tans, blue and tans, chocolate and tans, and full fluffies. And his daddy is Gobstopper, our new stud that we have with My Breeder Supply. And his daddy's daddy, which is his granddaddy, is Willy Wonka. And so these babies, little pedigree's really, really nice. And his daddy weighs 23 pounds. And his mama is Love My Kit. She's 17 pounds. She's a year hero, carries cream. AYAT. Daddy is ATAT. So all these babies were ATAYs or AYs AT, meaning carrying one copy of tan points to make the tan points.
So before you finish up on this, Holly's asking about her little boy. Why don't you grab
great.
him? Can you grab him real quick?
No, not right now.
Okay.
I only
Sorry,
have
Holly.
one in my hand.
There's a
I'll
video.
get him.
You get a video coming.
Oh, I've got videos for you today.
So we've got a few.
And it's all over Facebook that I have him too.
So we've got a few more.
So I am on Instagram with Love My Pups Official. I've got under Tammy Chopping on Instagram. And then I've got Love My Pups, or Facebook page is Tammy Chopping. And so the phone number to call me about this baby is 580-799-1910. And if you fly up here, we'll meet you at the OKC airport. Yes. If you want, we've got nanny services to use that I've used a nanny for 6 years. And if you drive up here, we'll be happy to meet you then too.
All right, we're coming to the end of this. So those of you who
and since he's the last one, I'm going to make a better bargain on him.
Those of you who haven't give us a thumbs up. We've got 28 thumbs up. We'd like to have a few more. So please, those of you who haven't, it doesn't take 2 seconds. We'd appreciate that. So these last few questions. Mike says, why does that puppy that we're talking about was 13 weeks? Why does he shed a lot? That's a Frenchie thing. It's interesting that fluffies tend not to shed.
If they're like our full fluffies are have the no shed gene, and when they're bred to and being little fluffy carriers, they don't shed because they have the no shed gene. This little boy won't shed. Now they shed some, but not like a regular Frenchie.
So Benny Hood would like to. You've got a puppy listening 3 weeks. Would like to test out the poop rack. Good. Give me a call. We'll get that sorted out. So let's see. Somebody else is asking about the Clavamox. We use Clavamox not used on mum. Clavamox is a version of amoxicillin. You have to go get a script for it. We use that for puppies that are having problems, specifically pneumonia. So that's a puppy thing. And then, I see. I didn't hear what type of powder you did to stop them from eating the poop. Chili powder. Put some chili powder on the poop.
Yeah, I know, but not on these babies.
No, but adult dogs. I mean, if you've got an older dog that wants to eat poop, you've got to break the habit. So that you break the habit by not making it where it tastes good, cleaning up the poop so there's not an attractant there, and getting them to poop in the same place on a regular basis. Those things will be a long ways towards getting a dog not to poop. So it can be problematic, especially if the dog's now 6 months old and it's learned this. You've got to unlearn it. So take some time. It's not going to happen in a day. Stanley says he's good looking. He is a good looking dog. You talk about me or the dog?
He's got real good, nice nares.
I do too.
That natural rope on his little face, nice wide muzzle. Oh, he doesn't like. He's uncomfortable.
George Rodriguez, off topic.
Call me and I'll FaceTime you if you want to see this baby. 580-799-1910. I'm not going to let him talk. I'm talking about my baby.
Someone's asking about the HOEC 10-day extender. How can I minimize the semen from clumping together? So that is not a semen extender problem. That is a sperm problem. And so some sperm does want to what's called agglutamate, where it sticks together. There's not much you can do about this other than before you use it, take the bag and give it a good shaking and break things up. That's about all you can do. So it does worry. This is, by the way, why I do like a HOEC extender, because there's no particles in it. If you use products that are yolk-based extenders, I've had a lot of experience with this. If you use yolk-based extenders or milk-based extenders, they have a lot of sediment in it. And you will find the semen clumping around what they think is probably an egg. And that worries me. With the HOEC, it is absolutely clear. It looks like water. There's no sediment in it. And that's a long way towards that not happening. But agglutamation is something that happens, and it's because of the stud. And all you can do is give it a good stirring up. I don't have any other solution for you other than that. All right. Well, so Natural Line says I might have to use a pinch of fish doxycycline for my pups. So that's another whole thing, and that's exactly right. So there is a number of things that you can still get that are over-the-counter, OTC, over-the-counter antibiotics that are fish pen, which is penicillin, fish mox, which is a moxicillin, fish flex, which is sulfaxin. All of those are exactly the same thing you get from the vet. They're all in pill form. They look exactly the same, and you can still buy those. You used to be able to buy them at Walmart in the aquarium section. Walmart won't sell them to you anymore. So Nanny's, big brother Nanny's watching over us and stopping us from doing this stuff. My recommendation would be is to stock up on some of this stuff while you can, because there's going to be a day you can't get it. Shelf life on this stuff is very, very long. And by the way, when we're talking about other products, remember the sale is for today and tomorrow. It runs out. You use the code Fireworks24 to use that coupon and get 24% off your order. There's lots of other things that you should be getting. I didn't talk about, I'm going to talk about this very briefly. Test kits are very popular. Giardia test kits, we sell a lot of these. Parvo test kits, very popular. Pregnancy test kits, very popular. All of these things have shelf lives of well over a year. You can stock up on these things, take advantage of it, buy them while they're 24% off. Test kits for fine care one foam machines, 24% off. We currently are stocking the whole blood version of it, which I much prefer to the plasma version because you don't have to spin the blood. Go get these things, stock up on them, and stick them somewhere when you need them. Our puppy care kit, another thing that we sell a lot of, and I'm just going to very quickly cover this. So this has got a whole bunch of stuff in it. This is like, I think, $106 or something at the moment. So you get this 24% off for about $78. I mean, it's got everything that you should absolutely have. It's got scales.
You need to weigh the puppies when you bring them home.
It's got a stethoscope so you can listen for heart murmurs and lung problems. You know, people say, I don't know how to use a stethoscope. You'll learn really quickly if you have one of these. You can compare it with the other puppies. It's got Vaseline, important when you've got puppies that are getting stuck. It's got feeding bottles. It's got goat's milk, so you've got stuff to get going with it. It's got suction bulbs, so you can clean out puppies' noses. It's got the very important digital thermometer. If you haven't got one of these, you've missed the boat. That's paramount towards deciding when whelps due. It's got nice surgical hemostat, so that you can remove dew claws and clamp off umbilical cords. It's got nail clippers, nice stainless steel nail clippers, so that you can trim puppies' nails.
That's important.
It's got other little bits. Oh, here's something.
All of it's important.
It's got other things in here like disinfectant pads and scissors and.
Oh, the feeding tube.
This is something I want to show real quick. This is
tube.
something that you can buy this by itself, by the way, on our website. If you don't have a feeding tube, you screwed up.
You're not going to get it at the vet's office.
They don't
either.
have it at the vet's office. It's crazy. This is dirt cheap. This is not expensive. It's reusable. If you've got a puppy in trouble and it's not putting weight on and it won't nurse, this is the thing that you have to do. You have to tube feed the puppy. And if you don't have this, you are up shit creek without a paddle. You must have in your arsenal of things a feeding tube. It makes no sense to not have it. I can tell you the first time that I had to tube feed a puppy, couldn't find a tube anywhere in town. No, none of the vets had it. Crazy as it sounds. And by the way, when I went to go get a feeding bottle, they'd have one of these little tiny bird feeder bottles, complete waste of time. This comes with a 0 to 3 month old silicone nipple. That's what you should be using. You can buy this at Walmart.
Because if you look at the dog, the female's teats, they're this big, if not bigger.
Kits are bigger than that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right. So
I said bigger.
yes. So there we go. We've now taken up more than our hour's worth of time. Again, that special 24% off. Use the code Fireworks24 on mybreedersupply.com. mybreeder, BREEDER supply, SUPPLY, MyBreeder Supply. I'll put a link to it. All of this stuff is available there. If you're going to buy something, buy it now. Save yourself 24%.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
Don't miss that sale.
And we got a few more. We got 33 likes, so that was nice of everybody. So yeah. So hey, as always, thanks for watching. I got something out of this time, and that is I'm going to start using our oxygen concentrator when we go to the vet.
Yeah.
That's a great thing.
Yeah.
That is so obvious. We have it. Why weren't we doing it? It's stupid not to take it. Next litter, we just got some dogs actually bred. Well, we've got
Chanel's babies.
Chanel's babies have been bred 2 weeks ago.
I say babies. They're old enough.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Very good.
And you can also get this little boy as a pet. I'll sell him as a pet also.
Okay. All right.
So
Hey.
just give me a call. Let's discuss price.
Let's say goodbye to everyone, Tammy.
Say bye.
Bye.
And
No.
Armani's mama, I will send you videos that
Holly.
I took today.
Yes, to Holly.
Yeah.
Holly
Yeah.
who's watching. Yes,
Yeah.
Holly. Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for watching, everybody. Bye.
Say bye-bye.